Hey Barry, this is Trent. I thought I'd make just a brief video to show you how our tool could be used for your lubrication maintenance program, and I think this would be meaningful to you. So I'm just signing into just one of our bogus accounts, and this is the very account I think that we created some of your images. So in the quick view, for instance, I think we actually have one of your pieces of equipment. Yep, Flint Hills. So this is where if you remember right, we had these dots, maintenance dots, and in the live view we had this red dot, which was a multi-asset, where there's dots that have fallen. I guess we used to have just a lot of green dots in there, but now everything is past due since the last time we did this video. So if we click on this, it'll bring up a pump. If we view the map of that pump, then there's a maintenance item on that pump that needs to be either oiled or inspected. It looks like the roller bearing on this pump needs some work done, and it shows you that the cooling tower coupling needs grease. So 6 ounces of mobile grease, XTC. You do it by hand, and that's essentially what needs to be done for this device. Now, the reality is most people don't look at our quick view. Sometimes management does, and it's a great way for you as a manager to see maybe points of application that haven't been done. You can see that this is green, which means it's fine, and this red pulsing one means it needs some work done. So it's a great tool for that. However, in the real world, most people just use one of our lists. And the way that works is in the reliability engine, we have this preventative maintenance schedule. And if I look at our work order and I bring up, again, this is a bunch of bogus data, so forgive me, it may not have a lot of complete data. But if I look at the routes, you can see that I have a route of grease and check frequency route, weekly checkup route, pins and bushings, monthly grease. If I expand any of these, you can see that there's a certain number of tasks that make up this route. Now, the cool thing is if you think something needs to be moved, you can just drag and drop, these items on the list so that it makes sense. And this is in a particular order. That way they don't necessarily need to look at a map and go from one item to the next. A lot of times that's self-evident to them, and they can just basically take these items and drag and drop until it's in the most logical order. So this again, push pins and bushings, monthly grease. That's just expanding that entire route. Now they can actually check those off one at a time as they go and do these routes. Or if they could want to do the whole route and just hit this complete box, you basically can hit this box and it says, do you want to mark everything complete? And you can hit done and mark everything complete. Now, depending on the complexity of these routes, we sometimes suggest that they do them one by one and basically clear them as they go throughout their day. The other thing that's interesting and a great feature to show you on this is you can see that it says this takes 6.1 hours to complete. So if you're trying to fill somebody's 8-hour day, then you can actually see how long any one of these routes takes. So on the push bearings monthly grease route, if I click into any one of these, it'll bring up the task. And there's an actual time to complete. Now, if you open the advanced section, it shows that we think that this is going to take 3 minutes. It's not, this particular task doesn't take very long, but if it really takes them longer than that, they can actually say that they can explicitly say that it took longer to do that particular task. Sometimes there's forms that are part of it. We don't have a form added to this one, but the forms are a great way that you can actually bring up some of this data as well, or even more advanced data. A form allows you to add videos and a few other things as well to the task. So if you want to add more routes or importantly, more tasks to that route because it's only 6.1 hours, then you can add until that becomes a full 8-hour day. But our software will get smarter about how long it takes to complete that particular route. So one of the things that we also have in our reliability suite is the ability to add both products and consumables. So for instance, if I open this up, you can see we have a lot of the mobile serve consumables in here. How's it packaged? What's the unit of measurement? And what's a minimum quantity? And this could serve as reorder points for this particular thing, and we could tie this into add someone to your group. And then we also have the symbols and color codes that we mentioned before. So as you build your tasks out, you can add any number of symbols to that or the color codes to that as well. So for instance, if I click on this, what is this? Mobilith SHC 220. I've given it a symbol of this round circle, and you could pick a color. We actually have a color wheel you could pick from, and now they know that anytime that there's a Mobilith SHC and that equipment is flagged with that particular application, then they know to use that oil. So anyway, that's kind of how our system works in terms of adding products. So anyway, it's a very user-friendly in terms of even some tracking of some of your inventory. Once you're in the creative maintenance area, you can select any asset. Let me look for one that might have some tasks. Okay, so this wet section 234, this is actually a list of tasks that have to do with that particular section of an asset section. And you can add tasks for these assets. So the assets, this is a list of those assets. So if I click add task for the reservoir, it says, well, what kind of a task do you want to maybe, let's just do top off. And the maintenance type is from a bottle oiler. Product, let me just select any one of these products. Points of application, we'll just say it's one because it's probably one fill tank. Volume per point, this might be where you do, this would be an as needed because it's there's probably it's a top off. But let's just say that we typically burn through 3 ounces in one of these top offs. The duration of completion and task minutes, let's say that this takes about 5 minutes. Frequency of days, now this is where this needs to be happen every 180 days. Does it happen every certain hour? So if the equipment has an hour meter on it, usually we're capturing in another area of the form, we're capturing hours on a piece of equipment. Frequency mileage, this is if it's a mobile asset. We do force the number of days because this is the fail-safe. So let's just say that we're supposed to do this every 180 days. So basically every 3 months. And I'll leave these other 2 blank. So the lead would be the person who's in charge of this piece of equipment. And I'm just going to put a couple of bogus people in here. Let me put myself as the person that's directly responsible. So this will fall into my task list to complete. You can put an alias in here for a group of people. And then you could even add visual inspections or, visual aids. So people know exactly where on this piece of equipment is the looking glass or where's the fill point. And then ultimately, if they tick this box, does this task affect production? So if something were to go wrong with this and it would bring a piece of equipment down, this is to help you calculate opportunity cost of downed equipment. So, and then ultimately you can put tags or routes in here. So this is the route, this is the 6 month, let's say that it's the 6 month grease and route. I can add that to a route. You can actually add it to more than one route, but I'm just going to add it to a single route. And then you can add any special instructions and then basically create that. So I've added, you can see for this reservoir, there's 2 tasks now associated with the reservoir: change oil and then top off. Ironically, I have 2 different oils, but again, this is just a sample demo platform. Thanks for watching, Barry. Let me know if you have any questions. There's a lot more detail I can get into and how this works, but hopefully this gives you an idea of how our software works. And again, it's a great tool to track and keep people busy. Probably one final thing, if I go to my quick links and I go to work orders, you can actually fill somebody's 8-hour workday. You see that I have, this is me selected, and I have basically 1.9 hours of my 8-hour day that's accounted for. I could very easily go to the current backlog, and this is what a manager could do, and simply drag items over there. You see that my day increments from 2.2, and then as I add different tasks, now some of these I guess don't have time affiliated, but that starts to increment how long it takes me to fill my day up. So you could keep your folks very busy. You can assign them both routes or tasks or work orders. All of that can be done within the RedList tool. And again, when they get into when they open their RedList app, all these show up for them to accomplish. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions. I do look forward to working with you, and hopefully this gives you a better idea how our tool works. Thanks. Bye.